Hello viewers. Today we have a McGraw Edison thin and light box fan. This fan was a daily runner of sorts here in the sunroom. This was the first season. I've owned this fan for easily 10 years, if not longer, probably longer, probably more like 15. And I really, other than probably when I first received it, I never did anything with it, never ran it again, just left it. So what I want to do, because I put it in the service here, because I have another thin and light at my previous location that's still being used there in the kitchen area. And that one was my first thin and light since I started collecting well, kind of always had collected fans, but really since I really started my collection. And that fan I think I acquired in like 2008. And somebody who previously owned that fan rescued that fan because it was in bad shape and they restored it. So I give that one, take care of that one. It doesn't get daily use. It gets light use in the summer for sure in the kitchen, like not always on. Last summer, same thing when I went over there. In fact, I don't think it was used in the kitchen. It was kind of used in the hallway when they had the air conditioning on. So kind of a tribute to that fan. I wanted to use one as kind of my daily here, even though technically that other fan is still, I own it, but I like to kind of, if I know it's being used and cared for with Eddie over there, it can stay. So this one is in the corner, which of the sunroom, closest to where I kind of sit on the couch. And in many of the videos that we ran over the fall and the summer of the fans running, the various fans running, this one was probably in just about all of them. So we want to, for the first time since I have owned this fan, give it some service and cleaning. So what we're going to attempt to do here is, and it's hit or miss with how difficult these blades are to remove, is pop the blades off, uh, probably pop the, easier said than done, pop the covers off or the shells off so we can get into the bearing, oil it, clean out anything we need to clean out, and if the opportunity strikes us right, revarnish the windings. Now, to start this process, I off camera took a step ahead and I already ran this through the dishwasher. It came out like new. And I'm telling you, between the combination of running the guards through the dishwasher, using the dry erase foam, in addition to what and I've added varnishing the windings, in addition to my other steps for servicing and cleaning, these fans have come out remarkably even better, almost brand new when I'm done with them. And check out some of the other videos. I've mentioned this before in other videos. A tip, if you're using your dishwasher, really don't do it with anything else in there. Lay this on the bottom tray. You can put multiple guards in there because we have a metal guard in the rear. We didn't need to do that. But what I do is I put like something to space out the guards. If you put multiple guards in there, like I'll lay one of these on top and then put another guard on top of this. And I've done up to 3 guards so far. I'll probably do 4. I'll probably attempt 4 next because that's kind of what I have in line. Another 2 fans I have for a total of 4 guards. Also important, do not use the high heat to dry. When it's done, it'll still be wet. Pull it out, air dry it, and you should be good to go. And this is just remarkable. Okay, so we're going to put this aside for now. And we're going to attempt to pop these blades off, which is always, like I said, it's like probably about my least favorite thing to do. Now, if you guys know me, and if you're just joining us, welcome. And if you are just joining us, it would be awesome if you could subscribe. But for those of you who do know me, know that I have a thing for McGraw Edisons. However, I don't have a thing for removing the blades because, or I should say, working on the motor because it is a pain. All right, so we're going to try to bring you into this. So what I did and what I typically do with the Edison fans is I put something underneath the fan so it's not laying flush on the surface. That's because the electrical cord comes out through the center of the motor or off actually to the side, and you're putting pressure on it if you just lay this flat, especially if you're pushing down on the cabinet and pulling up on the blades. So I tend to lay something there. In this case, I just laid my little toolkit there, so hopefully that'll suffice. So we're going to try That actually came out way easier than I thought. All right. Wow, that's pretty good. I did notice from using this fan that it did seem like the bearings were a little dry. So we're gonna help them out. So I'm gonna pop this side of the cover off, which you can't. You have to do it. Wow, those windings look remarkable, and there's like no dust in there. Really cool. Really cool. Okay. So what we're gonna have to do is, this is the fun with the McGraw Edisons, right? We're gonna have to remove this from the cabinet. I've done this before. Here, here, and here, and then you just kind of set it aside on the cabinet there. So let's. Well, we're gonna need the tools. Am I still in frame? Not really. We're gonna lay it back down in a minute. Let's see here. Oh, we guessed right. Whoa. I know. It's okay. This won't hurt. Yes, I'm talking to my fan. So the story behind this, and I've had a few people, first off, I'll say, I've had a few people say they enjoy my commentary during the videos when we kind of have what would ordinarily be dead air time, right? So I thank you for that, and I'm aware that there could be boring time. You can, not that my commentary is riveting, but you can certainly fast forward through. And because editing is not my strong suit, I could do the editing for you and speed up all this stuff, but we're not. So I instead elect to fill it with commentary, because sometimes when I watch other videos, I really enjoy when the YouTuber, if you will, or the person producing the content or whatever is actually speaking to me during this part, because I feel like I tend to learn something or pick up on something, even if it's trivial. Again, this is a hobby, so it's kind of neat to learn some things. For example, I was on someone else's channel who I know subscribes to this channel, and I was just looking at some of the stuff on his channel, and I was listening to the videos, and I was like, I just learned like a couple new things, not even looking for something. So really cool. All right, so we got that out. Ooh, it's warm in here. Well, we can't turn the fan on. All right, can you see that? All right, this is always. I could take the feet off. You probably saw the feet like there, but these are on so snug, and I've found from experience with these guys that the plastic kind of lose its, like, I don't want to say grip in there, because the one that I just told you about, the other location, the feet don't, they keep sliding out, and so I'm not going to mess with that. So that's why this fan is kind of sitting here cockeyed. All right. So now to get these studs out. All right. So now I need a deeper socket. Maybe this will work. Oh yeah. So these are basically studs that go through. And this side. This side has the bolt on it, if you will. Just come right through. And voila. There's one. There's three. And so basically these, whatever you call them, studs, that's what lines up on the rear guard. And then those three little funny looking bolts that I took off, or nuts, whatever you want to call them. They serve two purposes. Where I find when I'm, for example, we were just working on the Lakewood recently, they have separate. They have the four, I think the four screws that hold it to the support, the motor support, and then there's additional screws, if you will, that hold the shells together. So I kind of appreciate this design where they maximize the minimum use of hardware, but not in a cheap, economy way, like a lot of things are. Although that was probably the intent. I'm just trying to hand. So if we do end up varnishing the windings, I'm gonna do it in a way where we do it with the motor still attached in the cabinet. Okay, so I need to get a screwdriver to gently pop off the shells. So for that, I am going to be right back. Alrighty. So now there are some marks here, and I'm wondering if this was opened up before. So I'm safe from the windings. So I've done, oops, that's not how I wanted to do it. You can kind of push from the inside like that. There we go. So you have to be careful. I believe these have, now somebody, this is where my knowledge isn't as great as you think. Just pull this off very gently. Oh yeah, it needs oil for sure. I believe, if someone could correct me if I'm wrong or not, this is what's called a thrust washer. Correct me, feel free in the comments. And then there's one on the other side too. Okay. So all right. Yeah, so we're gonna attempt to get all it off. It's not bad. Put that there. Let's take a close look at these windings here. Can you see this? Not bad. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if that's dirt or not, but I think we should probably pop the other cover off and then apply a little varnish, which involves, I'm not going to do the varnish in here. Whew. Talk about toxic fumes. And okay. Now this is the fun part. All right. Again, you can pop the screwdriver. What I like about this operation is you can see what you're doing, so you're not pinching a winding somewhere. You just give it a little press, and then there you go. Yeah, we're gonna give you some love. The wick that was wicking material that it's not really there anymore. There's some, but we'll help it out. Again, this thing doesn't get high use. All right, I'm gonna have to set up a station in the garage to handle this, but it is clean in here. I'm blown away. I mean, there's really nothing here at all. I'm wondering if this was ever opened up before and cleaned. I mean, it's just insane to me. Yeah. All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to show these things some love. What I think I'll do is just take some Q-tips and wipe down the windings first. So let me go grab those. Okie dokie. We got some Q-tips. I mean, it's like just a little dust. Actually, the winding that I just pointed out to you, I was like, oh, what's going on there? That's just dust. I remember when I was young and I would look inside the motor. Like I never dared take the the shells off. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. There's some dust in here. And I remember trying to explain to somebody, like, I used to call them copper coils. I don't know what they were. Copper coils. And I just couldn't understand like how it worked until I realized all it is just a magnet. And then it became a little less intimidating to me. And then I still didn't understand how and where the oil. I just didn't know. And there wasn't YouTube when I was doing this in elementary school or middle school, I should say. It was just you plugged it in and it worked, but like I always wanted to understand. And I remember asking my family, I remember my grandfather, I remember asking him, like, because he would put a fan in his garage, like that was like in the house, and he would say, "Oh, this is being retired. I'm just using it as a work fan," and then it would disappear like 2 years later, and then he would have another one from the house. So in my mind, I thought, well, looking. So I used to say to him, I should finish that story first. I used to say to him, "Oh, when it breaks, can I have it? Because I'm going to take it apart and figure out how it works." And then like I would come, and there would be a different fan in there, and he would say, "Oh, I threw it out." Just get so upset. And then, you know, so then really, when I did get my hands on, these fans, I remember taking them apart, but I just didn't. No one, like, I didn't have anyone that really explained to me how this all works. And I still can't, like, on an engineering level, explain it, but I know how it works from a high level. You know, like what causes the the shaft to spin, etc. Why the bearings are important. Now, I was just recently watching a video. One of my fellow collectors, he had a vintage fan. Oh, I can't remember what it was. Like metal blades, like probably 60s, maybe 50s. And he was saying it has a uni bearing. I've never seen such a thing, and and he was just doing a checkout video. He wasn't doing a service video. And I really hope he does a service video, because I would love to see what that's about. Like, the finish in here is like shining still. I've found sometimes when I blow compressed air in here, it really doesn't. Like if you have like globs of it, like dust in here, yeah, it blows it out. But when you have it like on the windings like this, I don't really. Ooh, let's careful there. All right, we're definitely going to show this thing some love. Okay. All right, so I am going to set up what we need to do for outside, and then we're gonna varnish this. Whoops. We're gonna varnish this, and we're gonna then let it dry. Then we will come in, oil. We will see if we need to clean these. Again, not really that dirty. The outside of the cabinet is the dirtiest part of this fan, so it's very, very deceptive. Look at the blades. I didn't clean these ever. So it's so bizarre. I'll take it. I'll take it any day. All right, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna varnish, come back in, mess with the covers, oil the bearings, and then we will maybe start to wipe the cabinet down while we're waiting all that. Try to maximize the time. I've tried to do this in a dozen different ways to maximize the time. So I'm gonna go set up. Okay, we have relocated. I've already kind of set this up. You don't really want to get this on anything, because then you're going to have basically spray on insulation on something or varnish. The product I use, and this has come recommended by other YouTubers spray on red insulating varnish. You don't have to use red, but it's just what I got. I ordered this off of Amazon, I think. Do apologize for the lighting in here. It is kind of what it is. It's kind of why I was set up in the other room. See if that helps. It's going to help with the air, that's for sure. Okay. Here we go. So when I apply this, if you follow the channel, the first time I applied this on a fan, I've sprayed it from far away, much like you would use spray paint. Don't do that. I made a mess. Next time I used it, I sprayed it very close, and this is because I had a lesson from a very renowned fan person in our hobby, and I've watched him do it and was with him physically while he has done it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to spray it on. Let's see, I just want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. And this stuff stinks. So I have the garage door open in front of me, the back door of the garage open as well. There's a slight breeze. It's like 50 degrees outside, so it should be okay. So all right, so that's the one side. Whew, man, talk about VOCs. I should hit that. Okay. So I'm going to carefully flip this over. And just do the back side. It's a little messier than I've done it before, but there you have it. So, all right, that's all it takes to do this. Let's see something here. Okay. We're going to let that dry, and we are going to return to the inside, go back inside, and we're going to work on those shells and the bearings. Okay, we're back inside with the shells here, which contain the bearing. And I'm going to take a look at how dirty these are. Let's see here. Yeah, there's dirt. So we're just going to do a quick once over here. So I know McGraw Edison kind of used different color shells, if you will. And they use like a darker one and like a grayish one. This clearly is the darker one. It's like a brown almost. The kind of the fan that I have that I've been kind of got me back into, not got me back into it, but got me my first McGraw Edison comfort fan since I was collecting, because they were childhood fans, and I didn't get the comfort fan. Again, the comfort fan, we had 3 of them. One died in the 80s because of me being dumb. That's a different story, and which is definitely documented on this channel. And then we had 2 more, which both failed. They actually like blew up in 1992. Ironically, in the same summer, they both blew up. And what happened, which I didn't realize this until the past couple of years, is why we're revarnishing the windings. I think what has happened is, of course, the time with vibration and the elements and whatnot, that insulation breaks down, and those windings, like one of the wires might just start to get loose, so it starts to vibrate. And eventually, it will short or arc and just blow it out. Like, so you could either like rewind it, which I do not know how to do. And I've yet to see a video on someone actually rewinding a winding. And because I feel like it's only a matter of time before I come across a fan that's in dire need of that or whatever. So I think that kind of what was happened. And the weird thing is, PTSD is real because to this day, when I work on, especially the one that I got in 2006 or 7, that I have videoed many, many times on this channel, because I restored it after I used it for a while and whatnot. So I have PTSD that it's going to like do the same thing to me. It's just a weird, like when it starts to make a noise or something. And what I remember about that, I don't want to mess too much in there because that's like the wicking material, and there's the washer. I don't want to mess with that washer. I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, so that's clean. So what I remember about before, like the one blew up on me, man, a flame came out of the motor and everything. Like I turned it on, and it started making this horrible like hum, like really loud, and then all of a sudden just like like a flame shot out of it and smoke. My bedroom stunk. I was scared. I unplugged it, and like the flames were getting bigger even with as the blades were spinning down. It was still fanning the flames, and I was just so once it died, that was it. Like I dared not to try to plug it in again. I wasn't that dumb, but I recall uh, it just it had that burnt smell to it. Like every time I put my nose up to, the motor, and I just didn't know. Like I didn't know why it did that. I didn't know why it shorted. I didn't know. I just thought the fan was old and tired, and it just that was that. And I really wish I would have held on to it. I got to a point. I think I was afraid of it. So eventually, my parents like these two don't work anymore. Like, what are we gonna do? And that was that. And I kind of to this day, as a collector, wish I had those because that's kind of what got me started with all of this. Ooh, maybe that's the thrust washer there. Um, so I really wish I kept it because then I do know somebody. I don't know if he follows the channel or not. He has helped me tremendously with my Edison fan. I've actually sent it to him a few times, and he's helped me repair some things that I do know how to do on my own now. But I did buy one on eBay once. It was supposed to be a parts fan, and it was in immaculate condition, except it had a burnt winding. And I sent it to him because he's like, I can fix that for you. I sent it to him, and I don't know if he swapped the motor or rewound it or what. I should have really asked. I was just like amazed that it's like a fully functioning fan that was left for dead. So again, PTSD with these Edison fans are a little real for me, but as you understand how things work, as you understand how things work and why things happen, it's a little less scary. And I was really grateful to learn how to varnish the windings because that really because that was kind of the weak part of my game here. Okay, so we're gonna put some oil in here. Let's see. Ooh, I don't like this. Okay, those are just the washers. There's multiple washers. All right, so for those of you who have never been a part of this, typically there's wicking material that holds the oil, and as the bearing calls for it, it absorbs from the wicking. Now, as these things age, the wick turns into dust, nothing. And there is some evidence that there's some wick here, but you want to get it on the bearing as well. So let's start by doing that. And I guess with the windings drying, the varnish drying, it gives this some time to soak in. And don't be afraid to get too much in here. I mean, more is not better. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like if it starts to run a little bit, don't be scared. And you know, you don't need to put a ton in here. And then also, it's okay. Like you also just want to like put some directly in the bearing. So I was pretty good with that there. sure. Get some in there. When I was young, I guessed you had to oil these, but I just didn't know what I was doing, and I stuck WD-40 in here, and that's a good PSA reminder that you want to use non-detergent oil to do this. In my case, I choose Zoom Spout because I do really like the long spout or straw. It's really nice for fans that have oil ports, and especially if you can get through the hub because there's an opening on the hub. But you can also use like an all-in-one as long as it's non-detergent, and typically it says it on the front, and it's usually in a blue. Like the detergent type oils tend to be in a red can, like the 3-in-1, and there's typically like an image on the back of a little fan for that. But this bottle I've had for a long time, and I haven't even used half of it. And Eddie has one too. I think I bought a 2-pack, and he took the other one to keep at the other location. Okay, so this is good. We're just going to let that sit. The other thing I would recommend doing, now I'm going to use the fan to do this when we start to reassemble, is you can take a piece of fine sandpaper and actually just get this off. Now, if I had a drill press, and if you follow Jordan Yu, which if you're watching me, chances are you are, he has a drill press. That is a very excellent way to do this, and you can polish it. He uses polish. That's going to kind of be the next evolution of my game here. But what I'll do, and I've seen him do this and others do this, is when we reassemble this into the shells, before we put the blades on, essentially, we are going to use the fan as the drill press and just hold a piece of sandpaper while the shaft spins and clean this off. Then we should be good. Yeah, this it's not in too bad shape. I don't feel any I don't feel like it's scorn. This is just discolor. This is just dried oil or something here. All right, so that's what we'll do there. And while we're working, well, while we still have things we can do while we're waiting, we're going to take the melamine foam and we're going to do a little cleaning here. So let's zoom back out of here. Now, I say melamine foam. It's because I've been branded that way by how I learned. Melamine's just an off brand. So essentially what this is Magic Dry Eraser. I think Mr. Clean makes it. That's not the brand I have. I don't even have melamine foam. This is some weird brand, but you get the idea. Something like the Magic Eraser, Magic, whatever it's called. This, I've learned from others. I'm not bashful to say I've learned a lot from others. And the comment was made that this stuff is game changer, 1,000%. I used to use like multi-surface cleaner, like a gentle one. That worked pretty well. But this is non-abrasive, as it looks like from the camera. And it just, I'm putting water on it right here. You just get it wet and it takes off everything. And it gives it like this, I wish you could like feel it, but it gives it this like that feel of new. Yeah, these blades don't need much work at all. Yeah, it will give it, you can see, while it looks like there's nothing on these blades really, it's still taking something off. The only thing I've found with the kind that I have, maybe next time I'll try a different brand or a different off brand, is when I do have to kind of scrub a little harder, it breaks it really easily into pieces, which is fine, but this is good. And then what I like to do, and I don't know if others do this, is I like to take a paper towel and actually dry it off, because I found, maybe I'm just putting too much moisture on the foam, but I found like the dirty water will actually dry and you'll have like dirt spots on here. Yeah, see. Feels so good. I know people don't like the banana style blades, but they're childhood memory for me. And I don't think they're bad. I think they're way more aesthetically pleasing than those ugly, ugly blades on 3733s today. And I think they move more air. All right, so we're going to flip it over. Now, I have gotten questions about the dishwasher for the blades. I suppose you could. I don't. I just some a little more water, moisture on this. Some just warp more than others, despite I don't use the heat dry, but there's still warm water and all that. So I don't do it. And blades aren't that hard to clean, really. The back of the hub can be, but I usually don't get meticulous about that. I'll do the best I can. Yeah, like we'll get in here a little bit. This is where the foam will start to break. I see some water there. All right, so we'll do the same thing with the towel here. You don't have to use a paper towel. You can use like a, I have these like white shop towels that I buy in like a bundle that I just use for projects like this. They're soft, so you don't have to worry about them scratching up anything. And then you can either wash them or toss them depending on what you're doing. Okay, it's not bad. All right, while we're here, and because we got to do it anyway, I'm going to bust out the turtle wax. Yes, wax. Now, I think in terms of, I shake well. I think in terms of this step in the process, I really think I'm kind of like the only one I've seen who does this. Now, I do it for a couple reasons. Now, one, I'm a car guy, and I wax my cars and all that. I don't, believe it or not, I actually don't use turtle wax on my cars, even though it's fine. But I wax my lawnmowers, the tractor. So I like it on the blades. I don't, and I've said this before, it could be just my own stupid brain that, hey, maybe it just makes it that much more the air slide off of it, right? I don't know. It moves more air. Who knows? Probably not. Probably not even, would never be noticeable. But I do like the shine, and maybe, just maybe, it protects the blades from the sunlight a little bit. I mean, the wax does on your vehicle. It protects your paint from the sun. So that's part of it. Not that I use the vintage fans really in the window, so it gets the sun on it. I use them in the window, but just not so they're not getting pounded on. And the other thing too, most importantly, I do it is to protect the paint on the cabinets. If a vintage fan has made it this long without rusting, I'd certainly like to protect it. It is difficult to apply wax when you got rust in there. You do the best you can. Yeah, between the melamine foam or erase, whatever, the foam and the wax, the combination of the two of them together is just unbelievable. Like you can see the shine. Look at that. Pretty cool. So we'll do this side. I don't think by the time I get this part done, I don't think those windings would be dry. So we're going to have to step away. Got other things on the list to get done. So I can go work on that. And it'll be to you like I never left. Yeah, I buy one of these like once every 5 years because again, I use it on fans. I use it on the the lawnmowers when I service those, the tractor. So it does last a long. It may even last longer than 5 years. And then sometimes if I run out, I use McGuire's on the vehicles. Sometimes if I run out, like on the spot, I'll just continue on with the Turtle Wax. They make a good product. They've been around forever. All right. So this part of the process is Dunsky. And you know, it will make it easy to wax the inside of that cabinet with the blades off. And it's actually easier to wax the blades themselves when they're off. All right, so we will be back in a bit. Okay, we're back. We seem to be dry, and we're going to work on reassembly. Now, it's a matter of remembering which side goes to which, but I don't think it really actually matters. This is fun. This is, I'm gonna move you over here, adjust you. So this part of the video, there's going to be some trial and error because I don't take these apart like every day. Just look at that insulation there, make sure it's okay. It seems to be. So you want to start by kind of lining up everything, and I know I don't have the rear shell on or whatever yet. So okay, so we got the holes 1, 2, 3, and that's how we want to do it here. And a way to help yourself is, now if you remember, this is the back. This is the back, okay? Because this will come through, and then this goes into the front guard, or the rear guard, I should say, and then those little nuts fasten on to hold it in place, okay? So the fun part of this is lining it back up. And I apologize if you can't see what I'm doing. Oh. Oh boy. Let's just see. Let's check the other holes here. And again, you want to take your time with this. All right, so I put on the side. Now the thing you'll have to, this is definitely a juggling act with this thing, and this is what I remembered I don't like. So these don't bite into anything except for the shell on the back side. All right, so I did notice we lost a washer on this side. So these will fall right back out if you're not careful. So I need to, this is definitely a lot of fun. Okay. So now you need to get to the shaft. Actually, that washer would be. Oof. Screwdriver. Are you seeing what I'm doing? Yes, maybe. Okay, we need that. That goes on here. This goes there. Oof. And we gotta get that. There we go. Now, this now goes back the other end. Don't forget this piece. And then, now that you got it, you have to tighten these down so they go through to the back side of that shell. At one point, it felt like I was taking this, not this one, but one of these types of fans apart quite regularly. Yeah, see it going through it. So like I remembered how to do everything, like off the top of my head. Just lined up. Yeah, it should be. No, it's not lined up. All right, let's do this one down here. Yep, I feel it biting. All right, now it's just this last one here. There we go. Awesome. All right, so now so the one thing I gotta talk about with these fans that is not fun is the switch. If you're working on one of these and you have to fully remove the motor, including the switch, oy, it's a headache. That switch, I feel like, will come out, but never goes back in without breaking the tabs. I have yet to get one to go back in. And one of the fans I restored, instead of actually dealing with that, I actually taped up everything. I taped up the wires, I taped up the motor, I taped up everything and painted around it, and it actually came out awesome. All right, how's this looking? All right. I do this in all my videos. Line the shaft. Help it spin even more freely. Oh yeah. There we go. Now, this fun part. So the one thing I'm not thrilled with is the shell on this one side. Although it's in there. All right, so we're gonna, now you have to mount it to the cabinet. Boy, is this motor heavy. All right, so we're gonna mount it to the cabinet. This is also a puzzle piece. Just checking the insulation on these wires here. Seems to be okay. So I like to hand tighten these on first. I find that these little nuts or whatever, I mean, they're plastic. I don't think they're actually metal. I find they're more decorative than anything. And I know some people don't like these fans. Oh, you probably can't see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I know some people don't like these fans because of the motor mounted to the grill. They think it's ugly. I love it. There we go. Okay, so now we'll tighten it down. These fans are rattle traps, though. They really are. I mean, they rattle. There are some tricks around it. Like you could put washers on everything. I keep bumping into my microphone, sorry. I'm expecting Eddie to walk in the door any moment. For those of you who don't know who Eddie is, he's a contributor to the channel. He's also my son. And he's in the fans, and he has definitely been part of these things before. So I don't like to, as much as these, again, can vibrate and get loose over time, I don't like to kill them because otherwise it's a little more. Okay, should be good to go. All right, what I didn't get is sandpaper, so I'm gonna get some sandpaper. All right, so here we go. Let's see. That's the handle. Like right on cue. Just some fine sandpaper here. Sticking that right out. Oh yeah. Look at that. Took it right off. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So what I'm going to do is unplug it. And I'm just going to give it a couple of drops right here. I think I just heard a car door. Yep. Okay. I made a mistake that I corrected off camera. And before I tell anyone, I want to see if anyone in the comments can tell me what my mistake was. Now, you'll end up probably coming up with 20 mistakes that I made in this video because I'm not perfect, but it would have been very comical if I completed the reassembly process with the mistake in place. It's the first time I ever made this mistake, so it's kind of funny. Anyway, maybe at the very end, I'll give you a few minutes while I'm cleaning because we're just about done this. We're just going to do some melamine foam or magic erase foam on the cabinet everywhere, and then we're going to call it a day. But at the end of the video, I'll tell you what I did wrong. And Eddie is here to join us, so I'm going to put this up high. I want to show you the before. Like, see all this? We're going to try to get that out. Let's get the excess water off. Now, obviously, if there's gouges and things like that, it's not going to fix that, but you use a little elbow grease with this, and it really takes out. Yeah, look at that. Really, I mean, this stuff is just unbelievable. I mean, look at the difference up here. I mean, look at the shine. Yeah, like things like that. I mean, that's just paint that's scuffed up, or not scuffed up, just totally scratched. I might be able to get whatever that is off. Well, yeah, it's coming right off. Came right off. Paper towel. I mean, every fan that I've serviced since I've started using this stuff is just, it's like night and day. Yeah, so down here, I mean, we truly have a little bit of rust, but we're gonna, and it's just super high level surface rust. It's nothing bad. Am I in the frame in the camera? I'll let you. Water in the motor, nice. It's a good thing I varnished those windings. Yeah, like even here, there's like a texture. Okay, let's see. Flip it around. I mean, it's just really, really, really freaky. This stuff? Yeah. Okay. Try this one. This one's a little damper. Yeah, some of this is just imperfections in the paint, but you know, I was telling the viewers before you were here, when I opened up the motor, there was like no dirt inside. I was stunned. I just used Q-tips and just went around the windings just to get a little bit of loose stuff off. And there wasn't even like balls of dirt. Like, you know, there's like balls of dirt, like none of that. It was just very surface level. I'm like, well, I'm here. I just went around it with a Q-tip, a couple of Q-tips, or more than a couple, but wow, look at that. It's awesome. All right, we should probably do the bottom. I don't think I ever unplugged it. Nope. Awesome. Classic. It's funny because I said to the viewers earlier, I'm going to leave the feet on because sometimes they, over time, when you take them on and off, like the plastic. Well, okay.
You gotta beat that.
You know, I'll say like the plastic like loses it's just not, it doesn't grip. Like that one over at Mom's that goes on the kitchen counter, the feet don't really stay on. Yeah, you kind of have to like make it. All right. So this thing is probably ready for some wax. Wow, look at that.
Try it. Mommy told me some of my fans.
Did you?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. This is a little damp in here. I just want to see. Could you hold this? The motors are so big and heavy on these things that they really need like oh, okay. That's basically what I was going to do. You want to get the wax? I have the little buffer out somewhere. Oh, it's on this side over here. Here you go. Right. That was the guard, right? That definitely was not a 3733 guard that fell over. It would have been like tink. Yeah, my probably the only thing I can't figure out with these fans is how to get the switch out. Actually, and it's not even getting the switch out; it's putting it back in without the tabs breaking. Every one of the Edison fans that I've had to take the switch out, I end up using tape to hold it back together again. That feels really nice. The blades actually came off. You weren't here, but the blades popped off really easily. I mean, not super, super easy. I had to give it some force, like just force, but it took like 2 seconds. I have another one of these that has the metal guard on both sides that is totally locked up. And I need to, you could probably just turn it on its side. I need to take that one apart and see if I can break it free. But it'll be interesting because that, again, has metal guards on both sides. That's a project. And it's also missing hardware on the rear of it. I was telling the viewers, this is the fan that was used in the sunroom all summer. And this was the first year that I've really used it. It's been in the collection for a long time, just not in use. Now we just gotta put the blades on, right?
Yep.
Would you like to do thy honor?
Yes.
Would it be best to lay it down? Nope. You're getting closer. All right. Shall we put the guard on?
Yeah.
Let me get the hardware.
Which way? Sure it's this way, right?
I think it goes this way because see how it's smooth.
Right.
Yeah. Just looking to see if I had the socket driver in here for that, because what I do is while I'm working, I take a little break, I pick up the fan and put it on my lap and just take off the guards, and then at lunchtime I throw them in the dishwasher. And see if I can get these started for you over here. But I need to do a fresh batch of guards because this was the last one. What I've always liked about these thinning lights is these guards are just really nice to put on. Like they're decent screws. Do you have one more in your hand? Let me check the drawer. I threw them in the drawer. Maybe it was always missing, but we'll look. I think it was always missing. I'm looking in my drawer, and we don't appear to have it. Okay. That's a shame. I feel like it was there. They're very obvious to me, so if it is indeed like worked its way in the back of the drawer, I'll know exactly. All right, we good? All right. Yeah, you don't have to bury these because I can. I also can tell this fan is not tampered with because I've seen Edisons where the rear guards, like rivets or whatever those are replaced with actual bolts. Okay. Sure. It's 2-speed. That's clearly high. Yep. Gotta love your Edisons. Check the spin down. The spin down wasn't great when I was using it over the summer. Like it was no, yes, it's already way better. Way better. Sweet. Sounds happy. It actually sounds stronger than it did before. I'll have to be on the lookout for that. All right. Well, if you made it this far, I want to thank you for sticking with us. And that video was a long form video, kind of a how-to, especially for McGraw Edison style fans, which are can be a little tricky, as you saw. And I'm going to reveal what my mistake was. If any of you haven't blasted it in the comments or blasted me, I will reveal the mistake that would have been hilarious. It would have made a hilarious outtake video should we have reassembled the fan that way. I mounted the motor backwards. Therefore, I picked up on it when I was sanding the shaft, and I I realized which way the shaft is spinning and thought, we're going to completely have a reversed fan here, which would have been very funny. But that's the mistake I made. So off camera, because you already saw me go through the steps, I repeated the steps of just disassembling it from the cage, pulling those studs out of the shells, flipping it, reassembling, putting it back together. Also, a giveaway on these Edison fans. If you're working with one, whoops, unplug that. If you're working with one, is you want to make sure the wires coming out of the opening on the fan motor are as close to the rear guard as possible. And when I realized what I did with the shaft spinning the wrong way, I noticed that too, and I'm like, yep, that confirmed it. But here we are. We are done. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I ask you to please do. That would be awesome. And we have a lot of other types of videos like this. And if you are stumped on a fan that you're working on, drop it in the comments. Maybe we've worked with it before. Maybe we have one and we can do a video to help you out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.